Hello there everyone and welcome to the finale for the Zeffo MOC update series. I remember when I first played Jedi Fallen Order all the way back in 2019 when I arrived on Zeffo. I remember thinking this would be the perfect planet to replicate in LEGO someday. And here we are, the finale of this MOC update series. This one is a little bit different than the previous finales that I've done for my other MOC update videos. This one I will be filming from Brickworld, Chicago. I'll have all the figures set up, the whole build completed, and I'll kind of walk you guys through the whole setup. This is a very exciting episode, and without any further ado, let's get started. And here we are guys, the full completed MOC, the Battle of Zeffo here, where I have taken a little bit of creative liberty and pretended that this takes place sometime after Fallen Order, where Cal comes back with a bunch of rebel forces to help retake the planet from Imperial occupation. So you guys have seen most of the MOC, but I think the biggest thing here is the terrain was finished up here at Brickworld. I also was able to finish up those two paths that you see in between the buildings. Hopefully I'll be able to go into that a little bit more here. And then the roof is also finished with more greebling that runs all the way along the side on both of them, and some more details up top on the roof there as well. And all the rock work has also been completed. Here's one of the paths. And I decided to go with sand blue and make this thing all a path because I ran out of brown pieces and olive green, dark brown and olive green. So here's what I decided to do, was make a little bit of a path, and I thought that worked even though you don't necessarily see that in the game. I think it creates a cool aesthetic with the sand blue, and I was able to get some really epic shots kind of like these right here, kind of this urban close quarters combat, which you'll be able to see more of in the cinematic. And I've got the terrain finished up here. Not my favorite, but I kind of ran out of pieces, so I just covered everything that I could. Got a bunch of minifigures all set up here. Here's one of the minifigures with the gaffer stick there, slicing up a stormtrooper. I was able to get a couple more weapons at the convention, so all of the guys should have either Brick Arms, Brick Mania, or Brick Tactical weapons. Nothing too crazy here on the minifigure setup. This isn't like a Clones vs. Droids where you have massive armies. This is more close quarters, smaller team numbers here. Up top we've got a Scout Trooper who's kind of getting strangled with the rifle from this Rebel Trooper right there. I thought that was a good touch. So you'll see there's a little bit of empty space here and there. I just didn't have enough figures, but I tried to do the best I could with a lot of these figures and figure positioning, so hopefully you guys do like it. Over here we've got a Death Trooper and some MG positions for the Stormtroopers with their DLTs and stuff like that. I tried to strategically place the DLTs, DLT-19s, to have them in good positions where they could create a good lane of fire on the Rebels. And then here's the front. There's our Coleman Trebor, the legend himself. Hopefully he won't fall this time because he got a jump pack. Wanted to have him in there. Here is a Scout Trooper with a shock stick, shocking a Rebel right there. I thought that was a pretty cool thing to include. I wanted to have some of those Jedi Fallen Order guys, inspired Imperials in the MOC. Here's kind of the main alleyway right here, nothing too crazy. We've got some Imperial officers and different Stormtroopers and stuff taking cover, trying to push up and things like that. And just some more Imperials taking cover behind the building. Some more Imperials taking cover there, and then the entrance to the base where we have some Stormtroopers charging out of the base. You'll see a lot of the cool angles once I'm able to do the cinematic. I was able to get in there and do lots of cool, unique angles. Here's one trooper that I had fun setting up. Rebel Jump Trooper jumping on top of a Stormtrooper and kicking him in the face down there. Here's another cool angle with some Tantive Rebels who were trying to hold the flank and some Stormtroopers taking cover behind the buildings, really trying to set up an urban kind of close quarters combat feel with the Rebels and Stormtroopers. I really liked like the battles on Jeddah from Rogue One and Scarif, where they're all taking cover relatively close to each other, and there's some epic setups and battles going on. Here's the front. You guys have seen most of this stuff in the last couple episodes, but I touched up a few things here and there with some plant pieces and path and a little bit more terrain here and there. Nothing too crazy there, nothing super new, but this area right here is also new with the path. You guys haven't seen that yet. I wanted to create another path. I thought it'd be cool to have a secondary path right here. This one's a little more traditional to MOCs I've done previously and stuff like that, but I still think it looks really cool. I wanted to have that, again, street fighting combat, so I had some Stormtroopers taking cover back there behind the walls, shooting down this alleyway at the Rebels, and then added a couple more plant structures along the walls there, and really had a lot of fun setting up these Rebel Troopers against Stormtroopers. I still think clones and droids are more fun to set up, but I do like, there is something to be said about these smaller numbers, small unit kind of battles that you can do with the Galactic Civil War era. Here's what it looks like from up top. I think this is a pretty cool view of just everything that I was able to get done. Again, you guys have seen a lot of this stuff in the update videos, but with the figures it just feels like a completely different MOC, and it really puts life into the MOC, which I absolutely love. I think minifigures are one of the most important parts of setting up your MOCs. It adds so much story to the builds, and I think do not underestimate figures and what they can do to your MOC and how it adds a new unique story to your build once you get done building. Down here we've got some Shadow Troopers in the first ice cave. Here's the second ice cave. This one I spent a lot of time on in the update videos with the orange lift. And I've got an Imperial officer there trying to interrogate a captured rebel prisoner. And a couple more stormtroopers on patrol. One of them has kind of a wrench who's mining the crystals there from the ice caves. And I also added a bunch of ice caves coming down from the top, or not ice caves, ice elements from the top you can see there, kind of covering the top there to add some more elements. I think it looks pretty good. And here we go, guys. Here is the top of the Imperial base. A lot of interesting things going on with the greebling, which I did have to do at the convention, but here is the main view that I was so excited about throughout the whole build series. You look down this main hallway, we have Vader wrecking a bunch of Tantive rebels, and all the way in the back we have the control center and a bunch of stormtroopers taking cover. I really wanted to, if I had a hallway, I had to do Vader versus rebels. It's just iconic, especially these. I call them the Tantive rebels from the Tantive 4, the Rebel Fleet Troopers. If Vader's in the MOC, he's got to be fighting against these type of rebels. It's just iconic at this point. So we can see him stabbing one rebel trooper right there and then force pushing and force choking another one up against the wall right there. And the rebels are trying to fire down that hallway as the stormtroopers are trying to hold the line, stop them from getting into the Imperial base. But the rebels are definitely going to have a hard time here. So this is probably my favorite part of the MOC. Definitely my favorite part of the MOC. We've got a couple more rebels pouring in here. One of them's in hand-to-hand combat with that poor stormtrooper on the ground. But I have a feeling Vader's going to be able to handle all of these rebels, and then in the back there we just have all the stormtroopers returning fire as the rebels are trying to crowd together and take cover. They've got a lot to deal with here between Vader and the stormtroopers themselves. So this was probably the most fun part of setting up figures, was the hallways here, because this was something from the very start of the MOC series that I was so excited to do. Here's the bottom hallway with our scout troopers there on patrol, and then as we look back all the way into the back, you guys remember this from the very start of the series. We've got a couple of Imperial gunner back there and some ATST pilot, as well as some officers and crewmen. I actually had an unfortunate accident where I was reaching back there and setting up figures, and that walkway right there collapsed. So I had to repair it with one arm through this hallway, and a couple figures are lost. They fell down into the abyss, as I have done many times while playing on Zeffo through Jedi Fallen Order. But I still think this section turned out pretty cool, and of course the classic scout troopers, which are my favorite. I've got those on patrol outside there, looking out on the landscape of Zeffo. And of course, Cal Kestis has to be in the MOC. The Cal Kestis figure I was able to get at the convention from Brick Tactical, so huge shout out to them. They make a great Cal Kestis figure. I was able to pick one up at the convention, and I wanted to have him in his own little area over here fighting against a bunch of different stormtroopers here. I have one shock stick scout trooper right there fighting against Cal, and we got a flame trooper, Imperial officers, and a bunch of stormtroopers who are not doing too well. This was probably one of my favorite. I remember starting this section of the build, and it was something I wanted to put a lot of focus on with the bunker right here. So instead of having a bunch of figures, rebels for stormtroopers, I decided to include Cal, and I wanted to have Cal have his own section throughout this area of the build. And I think it looks pretty cool, as my computer and fan are getting way too loud, so I apologize for that. But hopefully you guys enjoy this little section with Cal. I decided to give him his own special area. And of course the landing pad in the background. This was insane. I loved setting up the figures for this part. Rogue One, of course, a huge inspiration with all the different crates and blasters going all over the place, with the Imperials on one side of the crates, Rebels pushing, trying to get to the inside of the base. I had a bunch of fun setting up these stormtroopers, pretty much all new positions. A couple of these guys on the side here I did use from like previous thumbnails. I looked back and wanted to do that for those stormtroopers, but these are all new back here. We've got a bunch of rebels who are trying to push up and get into the Imperial base, taking cover behind anything they can, and a couple of rebels back there who haven't had the best of luck. They're in a little bit of trouble, and we have one rebel here hanging off the side trying to climb up as well. The landing pad I think turned out really, really good. It was one of the first things I built for this MOC update series, so it was really cool to see it all built and all set up with all of the figures. I had so much fun setting up this part of the MOC. I also wanted to include a bunch of TIE Fighter pilots, kind of as a shout out to the OG Battlefront 2, where You can actually play as the TIE Fighter pilots, so I gave them some blasters and they're taking cover behind some of the crates. And then we have one TIE Fighter pilot over there who's getting ready to execute that rebel, but hopefully some of his friends will be able to come in and save him before that happens. And nothing too crazy, I just wanted to make sure to use mostly the same kind of rebels in this area. I wanted to use the Rogue One style, as well as some like partisans that I custom built. I really wanted to use all of those in this area to give it that Rogue One type feel, whereas to the rest of the battlefield I had the Battlefront rebels and stormtroopers, and then of course the fleet, rebel fleet troopers in the hallways. I had a lot of different variants of stormtroopers and rebels. I wanted to clump them all in different sections so they don't feel so crazy. You don't have like rebel stormtroopers, old classic stormtroopers, and Battlefront stormtroopers all mixed together. I really wanted to separate them into their own sections. So down here you have all of the classic stormtroopers right here, and this was pretty fun to set up. Anytime you get to play with height in LEGO where you have guys hanging off the edge, I think that's really fun. We have a couple of rebel partisan kind of sneaking up here. One's about to take out that stormtrooper with like a vibro blade right there, and another one's climbing up the side, and the stormtrooper is getting ready to execute this rebel who's hanging on for dear life. And then we've got some more rebels in the background with some hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that. Here's the golden angle right here for the entire MOC. This was the one I had probably spent the most time looking at, was from this angle right here. We have the rebels down here taking cover, and I'll show you guys here in a second, but you can look all the way through the Imperial base, all the way into the battlefield, and see onto the battlefield. That was something I was very happy with how that turned out here. So you can get the full range of the platform, the landing pad, into the Imperial base with the chaos going inside there, all the way out to the battlefield with these stormtroopers taking on the rebels. This was the pride and joy of the MOC, was this angle right here, and I'm so happy with it, with how it turned out. So hopefully you guys do enjoy it here. I don't know if I haven't really been able to fully show it, obviously, in the last couple of episodes, but I spent a lot of time here on the landing pad because I just had so much fun setting up all these figures and imagined all the lasers and blaster bolts flying all over the place. Classic Rogue One style battle going on right here. Here's another melee going on over here with these rebels. So a ton of fun setting this up. I just loved it. I wasn't expecting to enjoy, setting up Galactic Civil War figures this much, but there really is a lot you can do to separate it from Clone Wars style, mostly because with setting up battle droids, you just don't really have too much movement, so you really only have the clones to do really, really cool stuff with helmets and everything. But this, you have both. You have rebels and stormtroopers, and you have a lot more flexibility with the arms and the legs and the positioning that you can do with all these different guys. Here's some of the rock work that I completed here on the right side. I just finished that up at the convention, so that goes all the way across to the bottom through the bunker there and connects here to the entrance to the Imperial base. Here's another look all the way down through the hallway into the battlefield with an Imperial officer and stormtroopers going over there. And yeah, a couple more shots here of the landing pad area. I think overall, I don't know, there's a lot of my favorite spots, but that might be my favorite. I'm not too sure yet. Definitely let me know in the comment section below which area of the MOC is your favorite. And of course, Admiral Raddus always makes a cameo in my builds, so I had to put Admiral Raddus in there facing off against a Death Trooper. Here is the area, all these power generators and greebling that you saw in the last episode of the series. I was able to complete it. All the edges are greebled all the way down, and I think it looks so much better than what you guys saw in the previous update. I was able to get some more greebling pieces and complete that, and I think it really adds that Imperial base look to it. It doesn't look as plain. And then there's that structure in the middle that you guys saw me working on in the previous episode. I was able to put a couple lights in there and have some Imperial officers in there looking through the windows out onto the battlefield. Here's another MG position. I thought this was pretty cool. He's got a good position up there, taking cover and shooting down at the rebels trying to advance on the main road. And there you go. There's the roof. And that was a pain to get done, but I'm happy that I got done. Here's just another look at the epicness of the hallways all the way into the command center, which was a couple episodes ago. I wasn't able to get a ton of shots inside of the command center. Obviously, it was really hard to get a camera back there, so these are mostly all the detailed shots you're going to get. Same with the actual cinematic showcase, which you're going to see a lot of really cool pictures and epic videos of Vader wrecking all these rebels and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy this section of the MOC. It was a pleasure to set up. One last overview here of the whole entire MOC. I am so happy with how it turned out. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this whole MOC update series. I think the MOC turned out better than I thought. I had some low morale towards the end there. I wasn't sure how I was going to finish it, but I think it all came together classic crunch time mock stuff, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm very happy and proud with the way it turned out, and hopefully I was able to give you guys an epic mock update series, as well as all these figures in one epic battle, and you'll be able to see more of that in the cinematic video. This was kind of a quick walkthrough of everything before I do the cinematic video with all the cool pictures and everything like that. So that's about it, and let's go ahead and move on to the outro. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode, for the finale, and for the series as a whole. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is a little bit different. Normally I do Clone Wars updates, obviously. Usually Clone Wars mocks are what I do, but this was kind of a passion project of mine all the way since I played Jedi Fallen Order. So I really appreciate you guys sticking through with me, even though it wasn't as popular as Muniless mock update series and it's not a Clone Wars thing. It was still so much fun to do, and I really, really appreciate you guys giving me feedback and sticking with me through all the episodes, and I think you're really going to enjoy what I have planned next for my next big mock update series. Hopefully this format was okay. Obviously the audio from the convention I can't really use. It was way too loud. I couldn't really talk through the whole video, so I'm having to do this later on after the fact, so hopefully that is okay and doesn't sound too bad. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for the cinematic video, which will be coming very, very soon, as well as the World of Lights cinematic video. I was able to add in a couple more lights at the last minute, and I think it really elevated the mock and made it look really cool when all the lights were turned off at the convention. So stay tuned for those, as well as an announcement video for the next large-scale mock update series. You are not going to want to miss it. It's a really cool idea that I've been thinking and working on for the past couple years, and hopefully I'm able to do it and make it. I think it'll be really, really cool. Also have a couple more smaller announcements on the channel pertaining to live streams, other type of videos. Zeffo is kind of the end of a certain chapter of the channel. We're going to go ahead and hopefully pump some new life into this channel and get things going again. I've got some very exciting ideas, so definitely stay tuned for a couple of those announcements on the channel. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching the entire series. If you've been here from the beginning or if you've just discovered the series, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you've got time, leave a like on the video. This was a lot of work to put together. And leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite part of the build is, or let me know, is there anything you thought I should have changed, or stuff I wasn't able to include, anything I should have changed. Definitely let me know your thoughts and opinions and critiques in the comment section below. And yeah, we'll be back very soon here. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.